you doing? It's a bit of a wacky camera angle to start with, but before I forget, if you like reseller content, you like toy content, board games, action figure content, please like, subscribe, comment. That helps out a lot. So, um, did a pretty major haul today actually at one store. Um, so it's going to have to be broken in half, and maybe in thirds. We'll see. So we're just going to do this part first. So we have two, oops, that's not correct. We have two items. Spent $6 on these, and we'll figure out what that's going to be worth. So we have a vintage board game, and then we got a bag of toys. So let's dig into the toys first. So a big part of what I'd like to talk about is that you're going to spend a lot of time, if you're getting into reselling, or you're thinking about doing reselling, or you're just interested in it, you spend a lot of time just learning. You're not necessarily making money every time you go out, and it's not a waste of time if you go somewhere and you don't buy anything. A lot of the times, the best decisions you will make are passing on things, because if you buy things that aren't going to move, you're just accumulating things. You're becoming a hoarder, not a reseller. So, I haven't run into these in years, but I knew immediately looking at them that these were a specialty German figure, Bruder. I've gotten these twice in the past, and they have sold immediately for good money. So these two are Bruder. I knew just seeing one of them that I have paid for this bag. So then you just grab the bag because you couldn't possibly lose money at this point. You got two Bruders in here. I don't know why they're so popular. I think they're primarily dealing with like tractors, farming, forest stuff, but they are good quality. So that's one of them. We'll start with this. Like decent G.I. Joe-esque articulation. So they have like elbow joints that pivot. Their hands can hold things. I've never run into any like implements. Their head's a little odd. It could be floppy, but they can turn and kind of look anywhere. Basic knee, hip articulation. So this guy just says Bworld. That's their toys. So, like, he could ride an ATV or whatever, but it says Bruder on his back. Made in Germany. Last time I sold these, I think I was getting $10. I haven't run into any in maybe 2 years. But stands to reason, it's 2010. They're not going to go down in value. We have at least two. Whatever else is in that bag. But that's something I learned years ago, is look out for these, and it pays off. I don't have to even think about it. I just grab the bag. This is like a road crew guy or something. Same exact guy, actually, if you look at the face. They are identical. That's a Bruder dude. All right, let's see what else we got. Then we'll get to pricing. This looks cheap. It has no articulation in the elbows, just has movement in the shoulder and basic movement in the legs. It has Phillips screws. The feet say 2. Doesn't really tell you anything about it. So usually action figures, the imprint will be on the back, the butt, or the inner thigh, and there's absolutely nothing on this guy. So this guy's probably just a dollar store soldier figure, and we're just gonna throw him over there for my kids to play with for a bit, and then I'll toss them out when they're sick of it. We got a knight, no articulation at all, holding a flag. No markings of any kind. I wouldn't say it's bad quality. It's actually kind of nice, although there's really no color difference or anything. We are going to Google Lens this and see if it's anything. I'm assuming it's not marked because it came as a set. We got another guy who is... I don't know if he's forcibly disarmed or if his hand's just messed up. He's got a shield that is part of his arm. You couldn't lose that if you wanted to. So again, we'll Google Lens. I'm guessing it's going to be a dollar store thing. Oh, that's the actually different guy from the same thing. Low quality figure. We got another dude who has screws in his back. He has a peg on his knee. So he probably came with an accessory at some point, but he's pretty low quality. His head swivels. He does have elbow articulation. Oh, it's not a peg. That's just like a terrible, terrible, like a peg instead of a screw design. Wow. Couldn't even bothered with screws or some kind of like fitting. It's just a plastic peg slammed through the joint to hold it together, but it still like sticks out. So this is cheap. Got no markings of any kind on him, so I'm not going to bother looking him up because that, I mean, how terrible is that? That's the peg holding his knee together. It's almost twice as big as it needs to be. Oh, okay, you can push it back in. It was just his knee peg was coming out. It's not a big deal. Happens to all of us. We all get old, right? So that's junk. All right, so I'm going to Google Lens these guys real quick. Google Lens is an awesome tool. The only problems it has, it's not good at artwork. It is not good at differentiating sizes. And if things are monocolored, it has a really hard time determining what it is. But something like this that has enough of a pattern on it, it should know this right away. I'm guessing like AliExpress is going to come up. So Medieval Castle Knight, Lakeshore Learning Toy, AliExpress, miniature medieval. So medieval wolf knights, dragon knights. They're not going to be worth anything. So whatever. Again, my kids can play with those. All right, let's get a price on these. All right, so we'll start with this guy. So it's a dude with trees on his shirt, some green pants. The only downside to Bworld or Bruder is that like this guy doesn't have a name, so you just kind of have to guess. So we're going Bworld green, and we got 46,000 of these. We're just gonna see if we can find a similar guy. I don't know why sports cards are coming up. We're gonna have to narrow this down. I think we'll just throw Bruder in. Bworld, Bruder. All right, down to 57. That was easy. So we got like this guy, Bruder, action figure, man, Bworld. Light skin, orange shirt. Oh, and we got our exact one here, khaki pants. Yeah. They want $20. That would be nice. I don't think they're gonna get it. Unless everything's shifted. It has been 2 years. This one's 21. So, I mean, this stuff is still collectible. And it's nice quality. It's not like stupendous. I don't quite understand. Okay, so this guy might have been a forester. That would make perfect sense. So he'd come with this stuff. That's $82 if you want the chainsaw helmet and a gas can. If only I had found that. So let's see if we get some sold listings here and figure out what these are going for these days. So this dude was a bid. This guy, somebody took an offer. So I sold these for $10 previously, and we're looking, and they go for about $10. And they should move pretty quick. Previously they did. So we got 2. So while we're doing this, we'll look for the orange vest guy as well. I have no reason to think he would be worth more. That's not him. Now, I've talked before about toys that tend to sell well, and those are toys modeled after actual occupations. So if somebody's dad does something in the forest industry, you might want this figure. If your dad does something in like road crew construction, you might want that figure. So these tend to sell well because, there's every kid wants to have figures like mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy is their whole world when you're young. So this could do well. We'll change the parameter just to see. We'll go orange. Bworld. We got orange pants guy for 11, 10. I might put construction in instead of orange. Orange is a good qualifier if you're not entirely sure what the guy does, but pretty sure that's like a road crew outfit. We'll put construction. Might get some vehicles and stuff, of which I've never found any. But, again, we're learning here. So, if I ever do, that's definitely going to be coming home with me. The different vehicles seem to go well. I don't know. There's only 2 up there. Oh, here we are. So, he should have this stuff. If he did, he'd be 16. But he doesn't, so he's going to just be 10 like the other guy. That's 10 each, which results in $10 profit. So we'll move on to our vintage board game. All right, and then we got a vintage board game. So board games are animal unto themselves. So if you're looking to get into reselling, the 3 things we look for with board games are games that are collectible, games that are playable, and parts for those other 2. So I grabbed this because it's probably at least one, if not the second one, maybe the third one. So this is Parker Brothers Inc. And you can see here, this is the old logo. So you know this game is from early 80s, up to or down to 70s. And the game is called Avalanche, and I've never heard of it. So something that would be collectible would be a major publication, like Parker Brothers making games, and then there's not reproduced, or at least not heavily reproduced. A Sorry from the 70s is worth about the same as a Sorry made in the last 10 years, because it's really fundamentally the same game. And you might have people that want to collect it, but it's far more collectible for something that was never reproduced. Is this playable? It looks pretty much like Plinko, honestly. I don't know. I don't know if people have fond memories of this game. Playable games are things that are either very in-depth and will have a particular audience, like Gloomhaven, or a lot of the Kickstarter games that have come out in the last few years that are almost like Dungeons and Dragons style tabletop games that are highly strategic, but also playable, are games that everyone can play. And something where you're probably just putting a marble in and moving it, anyone can play this. This could be a great family game. Not all games are good for kids, for instance. So let's see if we can get this tape off without ruining the box, because the box is in very good shape. And we're going to want to preserve that as much as we can. And the thing with thrift stores is they really love to tape boxes together so that they don't lose parts. Someone did open this one in the store, so I'm hoping that I'm not missing anything. A lot of times the ones that are opened are like Monopolies, where people are trying to steal a figure or something. I don't think anybody would want to steal anything out of this. I think it was just kind of negligently opened or thrown on the shelf without being secured. There's definitely marbles in it, and that's why I feel it may end up being parts, is if these marbles are particular, like they're color-coded, it appears, green, yellow, blue, I might be able to sell just the marbles. And I got it for $3. I already peeled the sticker off, and you already knew that because I put 6 up in the spent. The Bruder figures and other figures were $3. So we took a bit of a chance on this. I did look it up. I don't totally fly blind doing this, but I like to save time and not really like sit in the store and decide what I'm doing. This one felt right and felt that it would sell for pretty good money, and I saw a lot of them sold and for sale in like the $20 to $60 range. And at $3, you almost can't miss. Even if I just have a handful of marbles in the grand scheme, or maybe one of these white things could be things that people want to complete a really, really nice version of this and have their collectible one. This tape is being quite difficult. In a box this old, you can absolutely start ripping the coating off of it. Like, this is going to have tape damage, and there's absolutely nothing I could do about that just by virtue of they taped it. I will never get it off perfectly. Like, and you know, things you could do to tape to get it off is to steam it, which obviously on cardboard would do far more harm than this. Alright, almost done with this edge. I'll probably pause it for the other side, just to cut out some of the riveting tape removal video here. I'm just going to briefly restart this to show. So this is a 1966 version. And the back of these boxes, if they get tape on them, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because it sits primarily face up, you will never get the tape off. So I actually have to leave this tape on here, because if I pull it, it will pull the rules off the back of the box. So I'm going to have to list this as tape on box. And if somebody wants to buy it and attempt to remove it, I can. But, like you can see right on this edge, if I were to lift this up, it's already taking the box apart, and I haven't even started to unstick it yet. So I know it's going to just rip that whole square right off. So we ain't going to do that. Okay, so we got it taken care of. We got all the tape off the top. So most collectors, they really just care about this image. You have a good facing. And this isn't perfect. There's definitely scuff marks, but it's from 1966. So I would consider this to be very good. Then we have the game itself. Now, a lot of stuff here. The instructions were on the back, which means that the table of contents should be in here also on the back. So I think what we're going to have to do is flip it over, see if we can find what this game comes with. Object, start, marbles, play. We don't have a list of what's supposed to be in here, I don't believe. I'll read it a bit further and see if I can get a photo of what I need to inventory here. Alright, so no mention of how much stuff is in here. I may have to look at other examples to figure out exactly what we need. So we do say, you know, I read the rules, 2 to 6 players, and every player gets one of these cards. So stands to reason 6 would be the number, and we have 6. So we have those cards, and they're in good shape. Marbles are color-coded, and these don't look like the marbles that are on the box, unfortunately. If you look at the box, these are very clearly solid marbles, and these are very clearly not. So I'm going to have to look at examples and see if that's just like, you know, sometimes they'll do variants on a game, so maybe they released it with all solid colors, they ran out, and then they just kind of swapped these in. Because these are kind of, no, that's supposed to be yellow, but this one's really on the border of yellow to orange. Yeah, I'm feeling like these are not the original marble. But if I look up the game, I'm sure somebody on some vintage game site will have one. Like, what's this dowel for exactly? I doubt that actually goes to the game. but we need as many marbles in these cups as there are holes. So this looks like a playable game. I don't know, it didn't really specify what you do with the board other than you put the marbles in these holes at the top and they roll down. And when they get to the bottom, you take the ones that you need and put them on your card, and you're trying to complete your card. Some of these are just, like if you're doing red, you know, in the box it was blue, yellow, red. Here I have green, orange, yellow. So first we'll go through eBay and we'll see if we can find marbles for this game and see if there's a match. Because like I said, it could be that this was a variant and these were the marbles that came with it at some point. And we're gonna have like the different years. So could also be these were like left in the sun and these yellow ones got darker. So we have all the marbles and all the cards and all these white pieces. So absolute worst case scenario, these cards and these white pieces have value. So there's no way I'm going to lose my $3. That's basically what I'm getting. Now I'm just curious if you're supposed to prop it up. Like it didn't say to what extreme. So we'll try it out. We'll throw a yellow marble in and see what happens. Okay, like it's gonna go. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's not gonna necessarily go to the bottom. It could get caught. And then if I were to put another one in here, I have now tipped. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. And this is an example of a playable game because there's going to be like strategy. But if a few adults and a few like really young kids want to play this game, the kids could go throw marbles in here and it'll be fun for them. It'll be fun for everybody. The kids will understand they want marbles. And if they want the, you know, yellow, green marbles. Yeah, that's odd. The box, they're blue. But these are clearly green. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe the box art does not match the actual game. So this is good news. Yellow, orange, green, which we have. The box is clearly blue, yellow, green. So it may be the older version of this game. They reused the box art. Maybe that this was a second edition. It also, what I've found sometimes buying vintage games is somebody loses enough of the parts where they buy another version and then they just throw the new parts in. So it's actually like the old box, but newer parts. So why don't we look at eBay and kind of get an idea what we have here, what if we have the right parts, if there's any variants on this. All right, so we have 51 Parker Brothers Avalanches. So right away, these marbles we have, the 60, 1960, and they even have the off-colored ones like we do. So that's cool. This seems like it's going to be legitimate. These green ones, 66. Replacement marbles. Looks good. This set, these marbles don't look right. And it also comes with a card. So we're going to look. That says 66. Socket dowel. Ah, the dowel. Okay. I didn't lift up the board. That's an important piece of this, apparently. So we have on the back, we have this cardboard, and I can almost guarantee you this is going to be what kills most of these games. It's just a piece of cardboard. You know, you drop a drink on it, or it gets wet in the basement, and this board is done. Ours is intact, so that's good. That's a pain point with this, where a lot of these are going to end up in the trash when that thing goes out. We got the dowel, we got everything. So this is 100% complete, as far as I know. I'm just curious why this has rules for playing booklet when it's on the back of the box on this version. And the marbles are completely different. So I kind of feel like these are the replacement marbles somebody threw in. Because there's red, orangey yellow, and white. And that doesn't correspond to your card at all. So interesting. Okay, so there may be more than one version. So we got this one here. We'll click on this and see what they have. So I've got these same ones, same marbles. I'm not seeing a booklet. Their box is absolutely ruined. Contains 30 marbles, 3 trays, 6 9-spot cards. Okay. So they're not mentioning what's missing, other than they said pegs are loose, but these all feel good. You'd have to like rage game at this thing to break these, I believe. Okay, so the 86, or sorry, 67. I don't know why I read that as 86, but so 67, the different game. Comic book ad. No, never mind. So I thought that was a very odd box. That's the ad for the game. Okay, this one has the rule book in it. So we're missing the rule book then, which is really too bad. Plus, let me just double check. You don't need it, which is good. So if somebody buys it to play, you have the rules on the back of the box. And this is like a odd cardboard setup. I was kind of hoping they snuck it in here, but I don't think they did. No, so it's missing the rule book. Okay, that's too bad. But ours is in much better shape than the ones we're seeing so far. Everybody's missing marbles. So like I said, even if I could just sell it as marbles, I'd be doing something. And that's really what your decision is with vintage games. Do I want to sell it as the entire game? And we can call it near complete. We're just missing this bit. Do we want to do that, or do I want to sell it as parts? How much money can I make on parts? So what we're going to do is we look at 51 for sale, and we look at our price. I would say ours is in better shape than a lot of these. So we're going to say we're around 30 bucks based on some of the pricing. And we're looking for like the word complete up here. Marbles. A lot of parts for sale, which is good. A healthy parts market is good for us. This one's 40 and it's beat to hell. Near complete, missing 1 yellow marble. This guy's missing a ton of marbles and he wants 30 bucks. So we're looking at, okay, $30 is what we could possibly get. So we're going to go to sold and we're going to see what actually moves on this game. And we got 29 sold, but that's going to include marbles. And this guy got $16 for 1 incomplete set of marbles. So if we're selling more parts than games, I may part this out instead. So this guy has a really nice one, and he got 48 bucks. Bids don't count because people don't make as much money on bids as they should. This is another bid. That's 35, 99% complete, whatever that means. I'm guessing he's missing a marble. Now, the other thing I could do is list it as is. for 30 bucks. And if it doesn't sell, I can part it out later. So this is all the marbles, or I didn't count these. We got 2, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. So 60 marbles total. And he's selling 54 marbles for 15. So I think I may do that because this game is moving. Okay, and they did remake it. So 1991, Avalanche came back. And that's not uncommon. You know, they already have the intellectual property. There's no reason they wouldn't release it. But like Payday, for instance, this was the first year Payday came out, and then they put it out again in the 90s. And then I think they put it out again in the 2000s. But that affects the value of the vintage ones. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to do 30 bucks. We're going to do 20 bucks plus shipping, which is what I usually do with stuff. And the shipping kickback will pay for the fees. And if it doesn't move, we could just do these individual trays of marbles, and we could do these cards. And I could get 15, 15, 15, 10. Maybe even the board itself. Because it's in good shape, it has that piece. But there's a lot, you know, this was, I feel, a very informative episode of my YouTube channel here about what to do with a vintage board game. Because we got a lot of options with this. And we're not stuck on anything. If I sell this for 30 bucks, I am completely happy. But if I don't, I can do all kinds of stuff with it. And potentially make even more money. If we had looked at this and the parts were outselling the game, we would have done parts, hands down. And it may be that if you go back and look at the parts for this, that people are charging too much. They may be charging $20. When you could buy a complete game like this, where the box is beat to shit, and you're paying like $28 and you get everything, you can then sell the parts you didn't need. Anyways, not a bad expenditure, $6, 30 profit. I will take that. And then we got some more stuff for another show. So, again, if you like reseller content, board games, toys, all that kind of stuff, like, subscribe, comment. That helps out the channel growing, makes me happy, makes my kids happy. And I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.